Chrissy, wake up. I don't like this. Chrissy, wake up. Hey, hello.
Gotta wake up, gotta wake up.
Can you hear me? What's wrong, Chrissy? I don't like this. Chrissy, wake up. That was nice. We didn't even rehearse that.
No.
Haters will say it's photoshopped.
Just like the image you're looking at right now. Oh wait, you're not.
Oh, your eyes are closed again. Hello everyone, welcome to Nobel Podcast episode 100 and shit. Fuck. Forgot.
30, I've been getting them right the last 2 weeks.
I don't know. Go on, have a guess.
136.
You've gone for 136. Our survey says... Oh, fuck. Our survey says... 215.
No, wait,
We've had a... Jesus.
236.
33 views last week.
What was special about last week?
Oh my god, they all are. 26, 20, 30. We're back, baby!
Inspiration.
Oh my god, I'm really inspired
All
now.
around Westeros.
I'm
and
so
Gallifrey.
inspired. I'm still using this cleaning pen.
Oh, so it's-
Do you know why I got it?
It's like a
Because
little mini knife.
basically what I'm doing is I've got an old iPhone and
No, he sponsored Raycon earbuds that he forgot to plug before at the beginning of the episode.
fucking wish if they want to pay us some money to do it. But I've got an old iPhone. I say old, it's the XR because when I upgraded, got my new one, and obviously got that MacBook. So I want to clean up, trade in, and I'll either.
Get the brand new Raycons XR something.
Maybe.
Sponsored, actually sponsored. I know, it's a shame you guys can't see it, but I've actually got them in my hand right now.
He's actually eating them one by one. But yeah, so I'll either get I'll just get the money and treat myself, or I might, because she's not gonna listen to this anyway, so I might use it to get Lara's Christmas present. Because
Aw.
basically she's got a her and her sister went in on this printing thing, so they could maybe potentially print us some stickers.
Ooh.
Which, you know, I'm trying to get them to do it before Saturday. But
Okay, no, fair enough.
so I might use the money if I do it to get her a laptop. She's never going to listen to this episode, so she's not going to fucking know, so she's still going to be surprised. So it really doesn't matter. But cleaning the wax off of AirPods, sorry for viewers if you're eating your dinner. This is the most
Nice
satisfying
image.
thing I've ever done. Because it's so hard, you know, with AirPods. Well, people that have AirPods know that really weird fucking
or at
groove.
least wireless earbuds, so they're awkward. Yeah. You do have to sort of get in there.
Look at that. I mean, that's
Crystal
that's-
clear 4K
I mean, nearly. I'm gonna.
looking, baby.
God, it's terrible. But anyway, this is terrible audio content because fuck, I'm just so surprised by the views. Really thrown me for a loop. I am
Yes.
George. That's Connor. We've got to
Yeah,
remember
yes.
that we still don't really have an intro, but we're kind of getting there, and it's taken us 200 odd weeks. Which,
Yeah,
if
somehow.
those of you counting in Catholic,
Yeah.
that's
Roman
over
numerals.
4 years. But
How old is it in cat years? Yeah.
28.
Older than my cat.
Older than
who's
my
still
cat
alive.
that had a fucking hairball on the chair before we
That
started.
definitely did not look like a turd.
That literally looked like a... Because I came up and I was like, that is a big... I mean, sorry, because, you know, I love that we chat more about just general life in this thing, but it's escapism, you know. You're fucking listening to it. But thank you, guys, because it's really appreciative. Because, so, we've got 2 cats, because her sister had a cat, didn't get on with her original fat cat that lived here, because
Oh, right.
she got another one, that she got her as a kitten, and it didn't get on with, like, Peanut, who's a big fat fluff ball, who's just the most placid thing I've ever met in my life. And so we got her as well. We got her small one, Pickle. We got that one, Poppy. But Poppy normally sits on that chair,
Uh-huh.
and I normally see her because she'll come up, and that's normally where she'll sit. But she was there, and then I saw this long thing, and I was like, "Oh, that's Pickle's leg," and it's like it's this big brown turdish looking thing. And it was confirmed to me because, as Lar did point out, it didn't smell of shit, so it was just a really long hairball, which makes you.
An unusually turdish hairball.
Aren't
It was
cats disgusting when you think about it?
Foul, absolutely foul creatures.
Like I love my pets,
I love my
but
pets.
fuck off
I'm
doing that
allergic
shit.
to them. I'm allergic to them, and
That's-
yet I still have them.
That's what Jesus. That's
Yeah.
like I have a child that is not as messy as that, and that kid's pissed in my mouth. Honestly,
Gee.
literally. I think he does
That
it.
should have been an uncensored YouTube Plus secret right there.
Because basically, like, I pulled the nappy down,
Yeah,
but he was
he just-
pissing. I didn't know that, and I was talking to him because he smiles. He's like over 3 months old. You know, it's the point where like he needs to be entertained, and
you thought
trying to
he-
make him laugh, and then he just,
you
I
thought
didn't
it'd be
realise.
funny.
Yeah, and he was like, "Fucking, have some of this, dickhead."
Have some of that. You can fuck that sky high.
Fuck that, sky high. But yeah,
Looked at the car and went, hey.
and that's literally what he said. Oh, now that is a plus subscription. That's a video. For those wondering what I'm doing at home, I put a fluffy thing into my AirPod hole, and yes, it sounds like that.
And yes,
How have you been this week, my chum?
Well, I went to the future, and there
You
was no
did?
COVID outbreak there. There was no COVID pandemic.
How was Back to the Future the musical? Because I'd previously seen it and talked about it on here,
The musical!
and I
yeah.
said, "Whatever you do, Connor, please try if you can to go and see it."
He's been on
And
about
last
me for
week,
months.
well, no, like I kind of said it, and then like didn't think anything of it, and then like last week or the week before, you were like, "Yeah, I'm going to see it," and I was like, "Oh
Yeah,
my
it's-
god!"
It's actually happening. Yeah, it's happening.
How
It's
did you
promised.
feel?
I felt like a grown person. Like I don't know. I did feel grew up. It was just the theatre I've been to when I was younger, like on school trips and stuff, but never a full out London day out experience.
London.
London town day out experience. But yeah, it was just nice to be on a different, bigger stage with more people than a cinema at this rate.
It's quite sad. But then we'll both be saving like 18 quid a month, so it's fine. Well, then we won't, because
Yes.
we'll just get Odeon Limitless, so then it will just kind of fucking go around and
Turncoats. Yeah. Yeah. At this point, well, who knows? Eh? Who certainly does. Even the Doctor can't even predict what the hell's going to happen in his little tardy police box. If we see him Saturday or see her Saturday, I'll have to have a little word with her,
Yeah,
whether they
definitely.
like it or not. And
whether they like it or not. But yeah, so you saw
Back to the Future the musical.
second week of the new cast?
second week of the second cast. Yeah,
Because that happens in musicals, because they generally do
Change.
a certain stint, and then you kind of just get offered a next musical because everyone kind of shifts around, which is
Yeah.
quite a weird way to do it, but like it's quite cool because then you
has
get.
that been that way since the dawn of theatre? Is it always just been?
I
that
think
way,
mostly
do you think?
because I think you'll sort of see someone in someone else and be like, you'd be great in
Such and
Joseph
such.
or something, and like, and
Yeah.
then you move round, and then because that's just kind of how it does. Because you do, I say this like I know, but I know people that work in the theatre, and it's like at least 2 performances a day, sometimes 3
Right,
on
yeah.
like weekends, because obviously like you'll have a matinee, you'll have sometimes some for school trips, and you'll have the evening one, and in between that you're rehearsing, like you get like like your standard 2 days off kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you're doing that like basically 7 days a week if your thing's running 7 days a week, unless you're ill, because you don't want to get ill, because then your understudy goes on and then like they could be spotted and then go on. So it's kind of like you're constantly, I imagine it would feel like you're constantly auditioning for something else every time you're in,
Right.
because you're like, if I do Back to the Future, then I might get to be Jean Valjean in Les Mis, and then if I do
Yeah.
that, then I might get to be so and so in. I might get to be Joseph in Joseph and Technicolor Dreamcoat kind of thing, but yeah, it's one of those things that you do it so much that then after months, you know it like the back of your hand, and I assume it just gets to a point where you just want to learn a new one.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, the mind will wander, your body will wander, and be like, "Oh, can I go in a different pose?"
And it's a thing, like, it's a job that's like, it's so loved because it's so hard to work in, and like there's
I
very
bet.
little reward, and the amount of money you spend getting to auditions and getting to and from productions, and
Oh no.
basically like working your ass off like all your life for relatively less money than most actors get, and
Yes. Yeah,
you
pretty
then
much.
like you get an appreciation for that, because the fact that you do pour your heart into it, but it's kind of then you get to a point where you don't ever want it to feel like, I imagine you don't ever want it to feel like a job. You always want to have fun with it. So
Yeah.
then as soon as it like
Not a
that, then-
requirement. It's
Mm.
more of a pleasure than a requirement. Yeah.
But you had all new cast apart from
Doc Brown. Doc Brown,
Which
still
is cool.
played by, I can't think of the guy's name. I literally had
was
this.
it Rob Barrett
I
or
was-
something like that? But Roger Barrett,
Bart.
Roger Bart.
Yeah, Roger Bart.
Roger Bart, do the Bart man. Because what a lot of people forget is that this cast
1.21 gigawatts.
1.21 gigawatts. It works. I can't believe it works. It works.
It works.
But so the cast that are in the West End, because originally, so it was announced, I think back in 2018, 2019, to be going to Manchester, because it seems like a lot of things get a residency in Manchester, and then if they're good enough and popular enough, which 9 times out of 10 they are, get picked up and go for a run in the West End.
London.
So that's what happened. But I think this was open for a couple of months at the end of October 2019.
Yeah.
Picked up. It was like going to get picked up to go to the West End, but COVID obviously happened, so a lot of the Manchester showings didn't happen, and then it kind of come back for a bit, closed doors, and then went to London. And that original cast went from Manchester to London because Ollie Dobson was the original Marty, and he was announced like a year in advance, so like they could get people on the posters, get the artwork out there, have a face for the thing,
of course,
so that they could promote it. Which they did, and he was fabulous. And I'm so glad that I got to see him, because I was debating before, like, going down to Manchester to do it before it got the residency in London, and thankfully I got the tickets for Christmas. Was able to go. When did we go? Did we go like February, March time? I don't know, because it was on here, and it was some point this year, because I got the tickets for Christmas. No, I got tickets for. I think I might have got tickets for my birthday, and then it got pushed back because obviously COVID was still kind of up in the air at the end of 2021 still, and thankfully, dragged a woman who was like 7 months pregnant up London to see it.
Yeah.
So that was cool. But yeah, so I'm really glad you got to see Roger Bart as Doc Brown, because he is fabulous. Because it's not the whole cast that changed, but they used Ollie Dobson got a part in something. I don't know if it was Jersey Boys or something like that, but it got a part in something, and then a lot of people I think have then gone on since then, and it kind of was like, well, let's use this as the
stepping stone.
The stepping stone for the refresh.
Yeah.
So a mostly new cast.
Mostly new cast, yes, from what I understand. Second weekend.
Do you think it does the Peter Cushing Dalek movies of doing Back to the Future but faster?
Yes.
Even though it takes 2 hours.
It does take 2 hours. It did take 2 hours, but I know the whole point of a musical is they have a little talk, there is a bit of a story, but then they burst into song, yet it's not on material that wasn't in the script. So when they do original songs, you just have to sit there, admire, and listen with your heart. That wasn't intentional, but it was the songs fitted the characters when they would just suddenly burst into songs.
Yeah.
They fitted the characters.
They
fitted the scenarios.
There was some that I don't know if you felt it, that felt a bit superfluous and padding. Like the stuff with where the kids are all singing.
Into my mind. Yeah.
Like some of it, because they skip over a lot of the thing with the whole Libyan nationalist thing and him getting shot, because obviously kid audience, but also you need a way to do it so that it doesn't set up a sequel kind of thing. You need to basically do the first movie contained, but streamline it in a way that you get the broad strokes of it, and then you can allow the cast to have more fun within that. But then they take more time to develop the parents and the family and that stuff, and I appreciated some of that, and some of it was a bit long, but for the most part, like, it's like top 10 things I've seen at the theatre, and it's great. But how was it? Because like you said, you're not really gone.
I wasn't as critical, because I basically went to the theatre, and then I did feel inspired to go home and watch Back to the Future 1 and 2. So then after I saw the play, that's when I then on that night went and picked out a different, and I was like, oh, they changed that, they expanded upon that. Obviously they didn't let Doc Brown die at the beginning. I get shot down. So that's when it really did kind of stick out after I'd seen it. But so I feel like the beginning is really the most they change, and then instead of the George being peeping Tom that gets run over and get hit by the car, he just falls out of a tree clumsily, and he's like, oh.
Well, it alludes to it, doesn't it? Because it does him with the binoculars, and then it's just kind of like there is still some adult stuff in there. But how was George McFly for you? Because he was really good for me. This phone case is fucking falling apart, Jeff.
No, I do want to get who he was played by, because I thought he was great. He was really the best looking.
Yeah, he was really good for me. I don't know if it's the same one, but he basically did the best Crispin Glover impression, and it was so easily appreciated. Is it something that you would go back and see? Like, I know a lot of musicals have the sort of the rewatchability because of how
Oliver Nicholas.
I don't know. Training Land. I don't know.
Don't know. Because I saw him in the beginning and I was like, holy shit, that's
keep
him.
going, keep going. Mark's
What's his West End debut? Maybe
I
not.
don't know. It could be, but it could because I forgot the names of when I should have got a program when
You
I
should
went
have
because then we
got
could
a
have
programme.
like compared.
Mm.
But you got a program, you got a T-shirt. You and your mum had a good old time, good old day.
I was a tourist. Yeah, no. First real experience. I just thought go big and go home. I just thought I'd better remember it properly.
Yeah, so like, how did it? Because I know like, you're one of them people that kind of like, if you want to see something,
I've
something
got the
really
cast
has
up.
to...
It was Hugh Coles. I've got the original cast up. Hugh Coles. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, that must have been when I was there.
Yeah, but Hugh Coles.
So scroll.
Did I have him as Biff?
I don't know.
I feel like I might have.
Keep scrolling. Does it say the new cast? Like next, like sideways.
Yeah, no, that's just. It just says West End 21. Weird.
Maybe I don't know, but because so what kind of brought it as a thing of because I know like for you if like you the opportunity comes up or like you really fancy it you'll do it, and it kind of was just like yeah I'm going to see it. Did like one of you suggest it to the other or was it just a?
It was. Mum had been talking about it. I had been talking about it for at least a month and a bit, like I say, a good 4 or 5 weeks in advance, and then it was just a case of like. Work. It was a bit of a work thing, you know. Oh, you got to book some holidays off. Blah blah blah. Blah. I originally booked yesterday off to go and see it, but then Tuesday was the only day they weren't showing it, so I thought that was typical. So we basically went on Sunday anyway because I can do that now. My weekends are free.
Yeah.
And it worked better for Mum's work pattern as well. So it was just kind of let's just do it this Sunday. And luckily it weren't one of these where we planned 6 months in advance only for it to get like cancelled or whatever and striked. So it was just it was nice to not have to wait for it, if you get what I mean, and rather than be disappointed.
Yeah, to just be like, and we're going next week.
Exactly, pretty spontaneous a little bit.
Yeah,
but
good seats from the look of it as well.
Yeah.
Were you sort of like middle of the middle kind of thing?
Middle of that circle, the dress circle.
Yeah.
Middle of the middle, and like
good view of the pyrotechnics and the effects are great, aren't they?
Yeah, they were. All of it was great.
I think it helps that Bob Gale and Zemeckis and all that have kind of like been involved in the production of this and like, have given it their blessing because like
I
it
saw
works
in the program there
nice.
was a picture of Christopher Lloyd with Roger Bart and stuff. I was like, oh, he
Yeah.
actually visited them.
Because there was a trailer. They did a trailer when it went to the West End.
Yeah.
And it was like Christopher Lloyd's behind the newspaper and Roger Bart's doing his Doc Brown wonderfulness, and then like they're talking to each other and they're like, "Great Scott!" and it's really fucking cool. But yeah, because did you see when you went in? Did you go? You know the bit where you go downstairs and then go in. Say like you had the bar and then you had the Hill Valley sign.
Yeah. Well, she walked in, you had the sign, and then we went up. We had to go upstairs anyway. We were like the second entrance. I don't know how many floors there were. There was a floor above us.
Yeah. So you were on the bit with the floor. You were on the floor. So did you see the Hill Valley sign that was signed?
I don't think I did. No.
That might have been a different way in then. That might have been because you can come in from the back, which is a bit higher up or whatever, and then you've got the bit where like it's low, like it's down a little flight of stairs. Then you've got the bar, and then you go in through the side, and that's sort of where we went. But no, that was because it had the Hill Valley sign. It was signed by like Bob Gale, and it was dated like when he. So every time that one of them, that any of one goes, they sign it. And I know that they went again recently. I think a couple of months ago. I think Christopher Lloyd and Leah Thompson and a few people went. But it's so good, so good. Go and see Back to the Future musical. They're currently booking until February 2023. If enough people book, they'll probably extend it through to next summer season. So go and see it while you can.
I urge it.
And even if it disappears from the West End, it won't be for long. Another theatre company and theatre will pick it up because the Adelphi is quite good. I really do like the Adelphi. It's nicely situated where it is.
Yeah, it's just in the middle, slap bang. You got plenty of food opposite it. We had a Pizza Hut opposite it. We literally got there, might have been around 12:30. Our show wasn't until 3. So we just had a nice little
afternoon one. Oh, you had like a nice little day of it.
Actual day out. It wasn't just, oh fuck, we got there and we had to get in. Like we did spend the day up there beforehand, and then we got in. There was a queue. Mum thought it was for blimmin' Greggs on the corner. I was like, well, why would this many people queue up for sausage roll? I mean, I get it's national. Greggs is Greggs. You can't fault Greggs, but still, I thought this is a bit too big of a queue for Greggs. And then that's when we got to the back of the queue, and a couple behind us were sort of moaning about like half hours before doors open. How are we going to get all? How are we all going to get in? Blah blah blah. And yeah, we all had that thought. But literally, as soon as we said that, 2.5 seconds later, they were sort of ushering us in, and then that's when I took my story shot, and we were literally moving as I was walking, and it literally within 2 minutes of queuing, we were in.
That's cool,
So
man.
the doors opened, and we just got in straight in. And it was just
So overall, out of 10.
I'd give it 11. You've got to go back one. No, I'd give it.
1.21.
I'd give it a
Gigawatts.
9. I'd give it a 9 gigawatts. I mean, yeah, differences aside, yeah, I'd give it a 9.
Yeah. I'd give it a 10. Like, it's great. I think the production values are great. It's you know, go and see it
It
if you
was an
haven't done already.
experience.
Maybe Connor will become a theatre reviewer, and he'll just like do
Maybe.
vlogs from the theatre.
Doctor Who in the theatre, yes. No, that's this.
We will be
Longer.
videoing on Saturday, which is tomorrow if this is real life. But
Is this the
real life? Is this just a fantasy?
gigawatts? Of gigawatts.
What bit really made you laugh in the musical? Because there was some stuff in it that I like. I think it was just the odd delivery from the person you said played George originally and Roger Bart. Like they were great. They were like my favourite things, as well as Biff. I think Biff was quite good, and there was just some odd obviously like,
They were
the improvised
really
stuff about
odd
COVID and stuff, and like just. Because I feel like they didn't really play to the audience until the second half. I don't know if you felt the same.
Yeah, 100%.
It felt very much like story beat, and then they came back from the break, and then he has that
And
weird
it-
dream dance flash mob sequence. And he's like, I had a dream about the future. A deadly virus. Oh, thankfully
Yeah,
that
he had
never
these
happened,
weird little
Doc.
dance off where he was in the future dancing with like weird space. I loved it as well. But then when he was, people in front of me were like, "Oh no!" Like they wanted it to be real.
I loved it. That's my favourite bits were the bits that sort of played into, because like live
Played
theatre,
around the
when it
characters.
plays with the audience, plays into the character, but also the stuff that's not in the films.
That's what
Like
I mean.
having their own
That's
sort of
what I
ad
mean.
lib bits. They're
Yeah.
the magic of seeing it, because then that's the difference. That's the reason you go and see it, not just because it's not just I want to see Back to the
Page by
Future, but
page,
just
yeah,
to
yeah.
music.
Yeah, of course. It was. Yeah.
So was there any bits that stood out for you that you were kind of like, yes, that's made me chuckle?
There was quite a few, but the quotable one is the gigawatts. 1.21 gigawatts. I won't forget that.
Were you audibly laughing?
Oh yeah, pretty like solidly. I'd say more during the first half, more than perhaps the second. I think the start of the second half was probably the best of like the laughs. But even from the get go, we were just
About 5-10 minutes in, were you like, yes, I like this vibe?
2 minutes. I was
Really?
like, yeah, this is sick. Like this is money well spent. Like, I was just like, this is cool.
See?
First scene, like second scene in, I was like, this is cool. Like
Yeah, you were kind of like, oh, this was worth coming down here today.
Exactly, this is worth definitely like investing in and being bothered about the films, which I can't say I've been bothered about all my life because I only watched it sort of late teensy, around the 2015. Oh my god, Back to the Future is no longer in the future sort of gossip. That's when
Yeah.
I first chucked
Oh.
it. Really?
What you're not as big of a fan as because Back to the Future is one of the films that
Like you
I was shown very young
Grew
and
up on. Yeah,
yeah, and
that's
it's-
fair enough.
and like in the 80s, I was born into a wrong time. It should have been the 80s. But
Jaws 19.
so what was it like for you? Like, because obviously you're an admirer and like a connoisseur of those kind of films.
No pun intended. Yeah.
And you're kind
Yeah,
of you're more openly expanded because of this podcast.
definitely
I think
because of
it's
this,
fair to
100%.
say.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we
100%.
both have learnt a lot off of each other in terms of our attitude towards certain things and are more willing and like
Yeah,
able
exactly.
to give stuff a go.
More than your friends that will just go and see Nope and stare at UFO and like they expect it to be an action movie and then go, what was that? Like,
Yeah.
what was that? Well, I'll be like, no, you got to look at it from this and be like, no, it was just a weird film. Like, but that's another detraction. We're not the average Joes. None of us are. We are film buffs.
we are basically we're kind of film buffs now.
we do. We like different shit to the casual audience. We're better than the casual.
And I think a lot of that has been down to, obviously, like we were saying last week about the future of cinema, the fact that we have access to the ability to go and see as many films as we can a month because we're in a
Absolutely,
position
because
to
we
do
can
so.
afford it. Yeah.
Even though I haven't used mine in about a month and a half, but
Yes. No, life distractions aside, yeah, no. But yeah, Back to the Future you grew up on, I didn't. I saw it sort of late teensy around the whole Back to the Future is no longer in the future sort of talk. And then even like getting home from the theatre and rewatching 1 and 2, I did a double bill Sunday night that night and watched 1 and 2. I still think I prefer 2, and I don't exactly know why. but I
That's
just
cool.
prefer 2.
I think it's, for me, it goes 1, 3, 2.
Really? You
I
prefer
think.
Really?
Just because I like.
Even the fans out there are shocked.
Exactly. I like how number 1 works on its own, but obviously,
Yeah,
then
yeah,
it's the
absolutely.
thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But I like the aesthetic feel. I like that it's. I know it's, well, let's have it in the same place, and then you do all these actors playing just their descendants or like ancestors of these same characters, and that's how you do the workaround, and it's shorthand and it's cheaper.
Yes.
But I like how different 3 is, and the landscape and the scale of it.
3 once.
The scale of it feels a lot different, and it's a nice wrap up. I think as a trilogy, it's one of the most perfect trilogies in all of film. I don't think it has a bad film.
No.
I would just say for me, and obviously the stuff in 2, like it is, like you said, like after 2015, that's out of date. Like I know, like there's many of the things that predict the future and those kind of things, but as soon as you do those kind of things and you specifically set a date of this is when this is, then you're aging yourself already. And that's why I think it's so much better going to the past, because what filmmakers and TV and just productions in general are really good at is a period piece, and like the costume, the set design. I think the way that the recurring actors in the series play their ancestors in Hill Valley in 1885 is, I think, just more of a breath of fresh air for that thing, whereas 2 feels like 1 again, but just sort of done a bit.
It does very much rely on number 1 for it to work. If you hadn't seen Back to the Future 1 before,
you'd be like, you could go from 1 to 3, but you wouldn't necessarily like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have to.
Yeah.
Like, I can watch them all at any time, because it's my favourite film trilogy of all time probably, and Back to the Future is my favourite film ever to exist. But yeah, I love it, and I love this expanded, because I love expanded media when it's done right, and it's done by people that care, like it's done by this production team, and it's why, as much as fuck J.K. Rowling, I would like to see Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, because that world, not just the films.
You've got it up there, but is that actually
that
a screenplay of the theatre, or is it just a book?
Let me have a reach around. But you talk about
Harry Potter and the Back to the Future Child.
No, so you've seen that. What else have we talked about? Have you watched any other films this week?
Well, yeah. So
sorry.
No, don't be. I mean, you can't be sorry to the audience. They don't get the nice, intense one-on-one experience that we have. It's just the rehearsal scripts. Oh, okay. So the scripts.
It's for parts 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So you've got part 1, part 2.
So it is basically the whole story, but it literally is lines and everything.
That is really fresh. So you know, because we.
I was like, you don't need to see it. You've got it in front of you.
So this came out. I think we might have been working together, because I got this from work.
Did you actually? What is it that old? I thought it was like 2018, 19 time.
Yeah, but I think. No, I think it was slightly before. I think it was like 2017, because there was people working there that definitely have not worked there in a while. I'll put that back later. But
yeah, really? I didn't think it was that old. I just thought it was kind of new, but not.
Because when did you leave?
It was end of 2017.
I think it was. I think it was that year.
Oh, okay.
Might have been. I don't know.
Oh. We'll have to.
The friendship was formed.
It was formed.
I think. Yeah, I only got it for like 20 odd quid. But I hate how much that's frayed, because that's literally all that's been is. But then that has been around a bit in my house before I came here. But,
and it is like the 8th. What does it say? The 8th story, 19. Because it's the kids, isn't it? It is basically Harry's kids.
Yeah, the 8th story, 19 years later.
Is Harry even in it?
Yeah, because so you get sort of from clips I've seen on the YouTube channel.
On the YouTube channel, yeah.
And knowing what I know from that, and from.
Well, so have you actually read the whole thing, or you just dabbled?
I've read that, but I've fucking read that so long ago. I read that when I first got it, because but it's weird because it's you're clearly reading a transcript.
Yeah,
it's weird because like my sister has the screenplays for both the Fantastic Beasts movies. I don't know if she's got the Secrets of Dumbledore yet, but
the Secrets of Dumbledore.
But yeah, so that was that was basically a thing, but so it's weird reading it like that instead of reading it as a novelisation. It's as the original Novelia that it stems from, but you basically get a rehash of the 19 years later scene at the end of Deathly Hallows Part 2, where, like, you know, and if Slytherin is the house you be, because do you know the basics about the story?
It's just Harry's kids at Hogwarts.
Harry's second son goes to Hogwarts, and
Sirius and Severus.
So you've got James,
Sirius Potter, and then
Albus,
Severus,
Albus Severus, yeah.
Oh right, okay.
So
I've got a guess.
Yeah, Albus Severus,
Oh.
and yeah, it's about him and his first year, and basically a continuation on from the end of that part in Deathly Hallows Part 2, like at the end of the prologue. So you get like them going to school, and it's about that, and then obviously being a Potter, like in this generation, and like having to, you know, basically sort of like how Harry had to live off his parents' legacy and being the boy who lived, but it's like he's the guy that defeated Voldemort and he's your dad kind of thing. And then it's like with the coming of age stuff of going to a public wizard school.
Okay.
So it is good. It is very good, but no, expensive because you have to buy parts 1 and 2 separately as tickets.
And then but when we looked it up Sunday, you can see it all in one day as like a 6-hour experience, or say 5 hours. But essentially, it's going to be like part 1. You have an hour break, and then you come back. But
I would do that, but you know, it's
expensive
and like availability as well. So it's like it's one of them things. We'll
get to it at some point,
definitely. So theatre, yes,
definitely.
Yes, I definitely. Fantastic Beasts screenplay. Yeah, because like obviously like continue to like not want to give J.K. Rowling money, but because that world for me goes beyond the films, because I had the books growing up, because I was reading the books kind of as the films were happening, because I think just before, like I got like that original print of the books 1 to 4, which I think came out about 2001 as the time of the film was, because it was then an edition of they're like the original artworks, but obviously been fucking withered away. But so I was reading like them being read to me and reading them, and then like, you know, the films, love them, love Warner Brothers Studio Tour, Fantastic Beasts films, dampened by the fact that Ezra Miller and J.K. Rowling were involved. But you know, how do you 3 screenplay? I'm just seeing this because this could be something I see.
CD.
I don't know if it has it.
Is in.
Oh no! So it has Crimes of Grindelwald still, because she's got the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them original screenplay. She's got that one. I've not seen. I'll have to look out, because you know that's something I could get for Christmas. But anyway, I've seen a lot of, because I think the standard of streaming films is always questioned. I think.
Yes.
Like on the face of it. But
every time I decide to catch up with it, I think,
I've caught out with a lot. If you look from last week, episode, including.
Yeah. Okay.
So I have watched 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know it came out in the cinema, but I saw it on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
6 streaming films, and I'm
this week. Bloody hell!
Some of them I'd seen like just before we recorded last week, obviously. So like, you know, the likes of 13 Liar or Hustle as well, but I'd watched that a few years. Prey, technically, because that was before it, because that was great. Dog.
Yes, Dog. Yes, I've seen Dog. Yes, yeah.
Have you watched Dog?
I saw Dog. Yes.
Did you like Dog?
I did see Dog. Woof woof. Yeah, woof.
Channing Tatum, very good.
And the fact that he directed it as well. It's nice.
Yeah, it's like, it's one of them things that you don't expect a lot from, but then like I watched it and I was like, that's quite a lot higher up the list than I thought it would be.
Oh,
not necessarily a problem. Have you caught the new Sylvester? I nearly said Sylvester McCoy.
Yes, that's Samaritan. Yes, like it or not.
Unlimited Samaritan pudding.
It's a film, then not a series. I got mixed up what it was, and then
it's
I do like the new Amazon layout. I like the Amazon layout.
Oh, you finally got yours?
Yes.
Mine updated by itself on my TV it was a couple of weeks ago.
When I looked for 13 Lives, that's when I saw the change. I was like, ooh,
I like it because it looks more like a streaming service. Yeah,
it is. It's Netflix now.
It looks a bit more tidier.
But yeah, that was this week it came out.
That came out a couple of days ago. I think I originally saw it. What day we were? I think I might have saw it Monday on there.
Okay.
Because it has the cool stuff of coming soon, and it says when it like the new releases, because obviously the big thing at the moment is like it's 55 hours till Lord of the Rings
I
Rings
know.
of Power,
Oh, yes.
and I'm like, cool, I'll watch that, but like that's
Yes.
not the main thing I'm here for. But the Samaritan was because I'd heard about the Samaritan and seen like early reviews of it, and I was kind of like, Sylvester.
I've
nearly
seen
said
mixed-
McCoy again,
I've
but I've
seen
seen
mixed,
Sylvester Stallone doing something that isn't Rambo, but sort of having the era of he's an old knackered bastard,
Superhero
and he's sort of
bastard,
being
yeah.
like brought out of retirement, akin to
What the hell does that remind us of?
It remind like it's well, I'll probably think of the film later, but it's a Hollywood trope that's long been done, like this
Absolutely. Yeah,
old
cliche
grizzled
is,
like hero that was played by a man that was bigger in a different decade, and then sort of having this be their retribution. It's kind of like a film that I could have seen John Travolta doing, like when his film career kind of went downhill after Grease, and then he came back in Pulp Fiction. It's that kind of sort of because
Yeah, well, late
Sylvester
90s,
Stallone
early
hasn't done
2000 thing.
Sylvester
Yeah.
Stallone hasn't done a lot of things, and
Bless
when
him.
he does, he normally ends up going back to like Rambo and
Adrian,
stuff.
love you. And
Because
Rocky.
Rambo Last Blood, not great.
No.
I mean, his appearance
I
in
mean, the
Creed,
last half hour was great, but that was
that was
the
funny.
movie. That was,
but also like we're getting Rocky 7, like it's those kind of things,
Mm.
and his involvement in Creed is then he's gone on to it's your time
still
now.
on track for this year. Still on track.
We should see.
Yeah, hopefully.
But yeah, and I went into it I didn't expect much.
No.
Because still, it's a streaming superhero film. But the way it's done and the world it inhabits, as far as I know, it's not based off of any pre-existing material.
I don't think it is. I don't
But,
think it is.
What's done with it, it's quite fun. Like, it's a lot more fun. It's maybe more fun than one of the superhero films that I've seen this year, maybe.
Oh dear.
I still don't expect Black Adam to get anywhere near this list, even though it's like one of the only DC films that are releasing this year. But
Yeah.
But and also I saw obviously like I'd watched Moonfall, I'd saw Lightyear like a few weeks back because that had come on Disney Plus.
Mm.
I've then obviously gone on to like 22 films are on like streaming services, and I forgot that Death on the Nile went on Disney Plus not long. It was the 45-day turnaround, wasn't it? And it went on there.
Basically, very quick time.
And because I kind of enjoyed Murder on the Orient Express, and it was okay. It wasn't great. So I watched
Yeah.
Death on the Nile, and I was like, yeah, that's cool.
But which one did you prefer, good sir? If you could pick one.
If I could pick one, I think it might be Murder on the Orient Express.
Okay, all right.
Just because I think the way it's
No,
like
'cause
that was
I
more
praised
classic.
Death on the Nile.
Oh, I do like it, but like it's, I think, in terms of like pure Poirot, like
Maybe
You're-
I've not seen the Poirot David
the
what's
David Suchet.
universe of episodes, and because
They're very good. Yeah, he
was
did
on
that for
it absolute years.
from the 90s until I think 2016.
Absolute years.
But
He's lived more doctors than like Tom Baker.
and then after he
Yeah.
finished, then was a guest star in Doctor Who in Knock Knock. He was the house man, and his mother
The house
and his
man.
mother was the Tom. Have you seen that thing? It's a clip from What We Do in the Shadows, where it's his delivery of "in New York City," and someone wrote, "I think Matt Berry is the best thing Britain has ever produced." His
Yes.
contribution to the world cannot be understated, and you look at that and go, "Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
abso-fucking-loudly, boys." But
Yes.
yes, I've seen a lot of them films,
No,
and
okay.
I look forward to the end of the year when we get to talk about all these, because
Absolutely.
we'll obviously,
Yes.
like, you'll have seen more than me, but we'll kind of balance out and then go through like the top 15 or whatever, and we'll
No,
talk about all the films that aren't in the top
This
10.
will definitely be streaming service month for me. Like, I might go home and watch something else. I'll try and get through 13 Lives at some point. I will crack through it.
Do you know what it was? It's because
just
it's a
a bit-
real world
yeah.
story in that, and I know there's a lot of Thai.
I can't say it was
and
fun,
subtitles.
but I was interested in it. I am thinking, but I want to see where it goes. I am
Because
interested.
for me, like
It
I
just
was,
wasn't
I was
engaging.
in it, but I wasn't grabbed by it because a lot
Yes.
of the thing,
Yeah.
because things starts at, like they get trapped at the beginning, and then I got similar to you, 45 minutes I got stopped because I was like, that's a film I want to watch. So then we started it again, and then from there, I think from about an hour on is when it's the constant thing of like
I haven't
it
had the
gets more
perfect
and more-
mood to watch it as well. I think it's just kind of been like
You will be so
something's
stressed.
come up, and I'm like, oh.
You'll be so stressed because the bit when they're doing the swim and actually trying to get them out, and you're literally like, I'm like, why am I holding my breath? Like this is ridiculous. It's
Oh,
a 7-hour
shit.
swim, but no, it is
Yeah.
good, and it's nice to see them being like of a quality and there's another one on there that like seen that's a 2022 one that I haven't had a chance to watch yet, which is The Contractor with Chris Pine.
Right, yes.
So I've seen that on there. I want to give
Yes.
that a go. Just keep adding it to my list until I get a chance to actually.
Did you do
have some free
Tomorrow
time.
War?
I did Tomorrow because that was last year, wasn't it?
Really? I thought
Yeah.
that was this year.
That was
Was
The Tomorrow War was last year, and
Oh,
it was bottom of my list last year.
I don't remember you ranking it. But okay, fine. I'll take your word
I
for it.
put it at the bottom just because it's completely and utterly just here's a Chris Pratt movie. We don't have to make it make sense. You know, the whole logistics of the Time War itself, the Tomorrow War, like it's
The Time
it's
War.
pointless and stuff. Let's do the time warp again. It's superfluous.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I didn't particularly enjoy it, but you
I just thought it was
you
this
could
year.
garner different opinions because that
when
is
I,
life.
When I get into a movie that I thought was this year, but so irrelevant to this year's best of. No, so I haven't seen Living 6 films like you've done. I catched Beast end of last week, obviously before my Back to the Future exhibit, and I sort of gave you my voice note on Faults. And yeah, I mean, it's not. I don't know if it sounded a bit poo-pooey in it or not, but it was. Those sorts of films don't grip me as much as it probably should have. I didn't grow up on Jurassic Park. It is essentially a one-man Jurassic Park. The kids aren't just plot devices
Mm-hmm.
for the most part. I thought the first, because it's like basically a 100-minute, it's an hour and 40 thriller. So I'd say the first sort of 45 to an hour was where it was at its best. And I think for me, certain events happen and the characters do typical dumb movie shit, and that's when I'm like, well, now I'm zoned out because I am just looking at it as a movie as opposed to an immersive, super cast film with only 4 characters in that's actually giving a hell of performances. Now I'm just looking at a CGI lion take on Idris Elba in the third act, which did feel very much like a movie.
Did you see it in 4DX or did you see it in normal?
I only saw it in 2D, and yeah, it would have definitely enhanced the thrills, but I still think I would have preferred to watch definitely Dragon Ball or something else in 4D. It was. I've seen 7.5 out of 10 on the average scoreboards. I wouldn't give it an 8, but I don't want to be 7.5. I'd give it a 7.75 if I was being super generous.
So you're more towards an 8 out of 10 than you are a 7.
Overall,
It's a high
for
7.
For cinematography, was the way the film was made, the colour, the contrast, some of the shots were that's what got me into the movie, and I didn't know that was in the trailer. It began so epically before the lion was on stage, and don't worry, the lion isn't She-Hulk. The CGI wasn't bad or anything like that. As far as 2022 CGI goes, everyone seems to moan about that, but no, I definitely was in it at the beginning, and then it's just certain cliche plot things happen, and that's where it just felt like a movie I'd seen before. Whereas the first 45 minutes, and I was like, no, there's 4 characters that haven't been done as far as 2022 goes, and I'm like, oh, I'm actually into this, and then it just kind of felt a bit formulaic.
Mm-hmm.
But the ending still hit, so it weren't a complete dud and a waste of time. It did deliver. It just sort of hit a couple of bumps, if you like, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know really how to explain it, because I did actually really rate the production. It was just the film itself felt very kind of, I'd seen it before and inspired by X material, and a Jurassic Park bag or shirt turns up in the first act, and I think that was the sign where it was oh, it's definitely not foreshadowing how the film's going to go then, isn't it? So I'd say go and see Beast if you're a lover of Idris Elba, because I mean, who doesn't love the man? Then I would say go and watch it, 4DX preferably, of course, because you really would get the thrills of it, and you want to be in the Sahara Desert. But no, I'd say go and see Beast. It's just it didn't wow me like I thought it was going to at the beginning.
Is it a fun turn your brain off movie?
Yeah, for the most part. I feel if I was younger, it would have been yeah, this was amazing. But because I'm older and I have got a brain, and I'd seen this before, I couldn't help but not switch off for certain bits, certain elements that happened. But aside from that, great, well-produced movie. The cinematography was gorgeous, and I would like to see more of. I'm going to butcher his name, but Baltazar. I can't even pronounce this. I can't remember the second name. Baltazar with an S. He's produced a bunch of other movies, but I definitely want to see more of his filmography. Balthazar. I'm gonna get the name up because I feel bad. I feel bad
You do that.
for Balthazar.
But alas, we are still waiting for She-Hulk because it's not out on Wednesdays.
Balthazar Cormacour. Cormacour.
Korma? Chicken Korma.
Cormacour, yeah.
Korma. Cool, man. Honestly.
You're still waiting for She-Hulk?
It's weird because we record this on a Wednesday and normally it happens on a Wednesday, but it's not happening on a Wednesday because it's on a Thursday.
Thursdays on the new Wednesdays, apparently. Well, yeah, shall we do like a quarter, because it's 9 episodes, it'll be free this week, or tomorrow, or yesterday.
So we do it, we do...
free,
yeah,
save it every 3 weeks.
But so far, really enjoying it. I think Tatiana Maslany is, because I don't think we've really alluded to it before, because we've had other stuff that we've talked about and things.
Yeah,
and,
we haven't covered it at all.
I've got so much news backed up from when the baby was here that I've just deleted most of it because we either talked about it just in passing or like it's just such old news at this point. But
yeah.
I think she's a great cast. Like Iman Vellani before her, she really fits and embodies this role, and I can't wait to see her in more things. I like the framing device of how they've done the addressing the audience. We got basically the origin story for episode 1.
Yes.
We got a bit more development, even though not much really happened in episode 2, but it kind of just furthers the plot for... I think it's basically almost taking the piss out of itself because it's getting the boring stuff done so that you can have the fun stuff. Because apparently, I don't remember who it was on Twitter, said... the post credits for, because every episode is going to have a post credit,
which is cool.
Which I think is cool because it kind of also like fucks with the thing of like you have to wait for like either the last 2 episodes or the last episode for a post credit scene.
A big reveal.
But every single one's going to have one. But apparently, episode 3's post credit scene will really fucking blow you away and it's not, and saying no, it's not just a gratuitous cameo, like it's that kind of thing. So I look forward to that because obviously we know that Charlie Cox is back as Matt Murdock / the Man Without Fear, Daredevil, and it'll be alluded to, and Jessica Jones could possibly be alluded to. If it's Ed Norton,
a random shout, Ed Norton.
Well, we got the recast got a shout out.
Exactly, they actually.
I was a completely different guy back then. I would
literally.
I would love to see Mark Ruffalo and Tim Roth actually in a scene together and have your mini Hulk like sequel moment. Although we might be getting a Hulk sequel of some kind because he's heading
world
and confirmed by the writers that he's heading back to Sakaar.
In the Sakarian cruiser, which he explicitly named in the first episode, and the fact that Bruce would know that it's a Sakarian ship, and all right, we the audience knew that it was the same sort of ship from Sakaar. But the fact that he was like, oh yeah, that's a Sakarian class cruiser, it's not like he then turned around and said, oh yeah, that's the Grandmaster's orgy ship. But I was like,
well no, because they crashed that and it blew up, so it's similar. So
I was like, how would he know that? And then obviously,
and how has he got it, and who got it here?
All those questions.
But we see Professor Hulk flying back. I got some stuff to sort out, so we know that possibly a World War Hulk is coming out of this.
Oh yes,
which I'm up for because I would love some more Berserker Hulk, which would hopefully lead to a version of Wolverine fighting him because we got that in a reference.
Yeah, man with
metal claws fights and bar brawl or something.
Yeah, some headline.
And you had an allusion to why is this giant man sticking out of the ocean because of this? Everyone said, why has the Celestial that got killed at the end of Eternals not been referenced, because
which is
where true. Eternals happens in the timeline, all this stuff's after it and it's not really been talked about.
But we did know from the ending, not the post-credit, but the end of this episode, that a certain event in Shang-Chi happens concurrently with She-Hulk. Tim Roth has his conversation going, and the whole Namaste conversation, which I won't spoil because we'll talk about episode 2 when we get to it. But essentially, they have their talk and it was like, yeah, cool. And then the episode ends with, Abomination breaks out. And then he's randomly seen fighting in the cage with a certain sorcerer from a certain film called Shang-Chi. So
I like that. I like that that's how the thing... So it's like, that's going to scupper the case. Because it would do in real life. Because she's having to represent Abomination to work for this company because she's got fired from being a DA because for hulking out and saving people, even though it was the right thing to do.
Of course, yeah.
But the company that she was trying to prosecute go to her and be like, we're starting up this superhero law division. We want naturally marketability and fucking commercialism.
She-Hulk to be the face of it,
and that company has the same logo that was briefly the She-Hulk logo.
The title, yeah.
Which is, I'm glad they didn't go with it because still, as a show logo for She-Hulk looks like shit. But
It's
that would
boring.
but for the aesthetic of that being that building, that's a nice little aesthetic choice that would have been.
At least appropriate for the show being told. Yeah, exactly.
I like how
yeah.
the title changed to Attorney for Hire, but
Yes, it did. Yeah.
when she gets fired. But
Attorney for
it's
Hire.
so far great. I'm looking forward to episode 3, and we will obviously talk about the first third of the series.
The third. Yeah, the first third. Yeah.
But I look forward to the cameos and where it leads and the possible
Because now I
re-emergence
feel
slash first
although
emergence
it
of some
feels
characters.
like the boring bits, but it feels like now. Do you think we're going to get like episode monster case of the week for now, and then once we
I
get
think
to like
maybe
7,
case of the week
8
after Abomination, or maybe Abomination's that overhanging
Oh yeah, so this week
thing.
will be the Abomination cliffhanger from last week, and then
But I'd kind of like that to be the last episode is the actual trial kind of thing, and then you almost
Yeah,
get
right.
a trial of the Incredible Hulk kind of shout out.
well we know
Because I
from
know in the
episode-
promotion, I know in the
Yeah, no,
promotional
don't be-
material, Mark Ruffalo, one of the outfits he was wearing was Bill Bixby's outfit from the original Hulk TV show.
Oh,
In a 70s weird, you know, where she's like, "Don't make me angry," like that bit. He's wearing the shirt and thing that Bill Bixby wore in
Yeah,
the original
so
Hulk.
But do you think that's just going to be a mind map scene of She-Hulk in her mind, thinking about the Hulk for her
Well,
reason?
she kind of has like a Sherlock Holmes mind palace kind of thing.
Because that's how it seems to be when she's doing the full break. It's not actually people turning around going, "Wait, who are you talking to?" I know we saw the Hulk look at her when she's like, "Oh yeah, she doesn't mean that." And
It doesn't mean that.
but whereas like when she was walking around with the lawyers in episode 2, and she's like, "Oh my god," I can't remember what she said in episode 2, but she's literally right behind the old man, and he doesn't acknowledge her once. So it makes me think, is this just more of a mental?
Like a Deadpool thing, and it's prototyping Deadpool.
But the fact
before
that
Deadpool.
Hulk can hear her, not because they're family, but because he's a Hulk. It wasn't Bruce; it was the Hulk in that moment. So that's that's a theory that I read. I was like, I can kind of see that. I like that idea as opposed to just if it was Mark Ruffalo in the background, he wouldn't have batted an eyelid. But because it's the Hulk and they're both Hulks, he can somehow sense full breaking going on.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know.
Something like that.
Maybe the radiation plays scramble with your emotions. I don't know, but I'm optimistic.
She-Hulk, yeah,
Very
very
optimistic.
optimistic. I had hope for She-Hulk deep down. I had hope for it, and so far 2 out of 2, really good. I
Yeah,
like
I'm,
it.
I'm really enjoying it so far, and I didn't know that in the 2008 Incredible Hulk, the fight between Abomination and Hulk was done in motion capture suits by Tim Roth and Edward Norton. It wasn't just a CG set, so it was some of the
that's-
first
Motion
stuff of that
capture
done.
work.
Yeah, no, some of like one of the first, like so originally it's always really been like that, so that's kind of cool. But
Oh.
yeah, we've had some rumors about. So apparently we've got a rumored casting for Elektra in Daredevil: Born Again,
Okay.
and Elodie Young might not be reprising her role
Oh.
because it might possibly be Isa Gonzalez is rumored to be playing Elektra.
Right, yeah, I thought I read that. Yeah.
But that's cool. I know one of the fan pages that you sent me is that Kate Bishop is going to be an important character in Phase 5, so Kate Bishop will return.
But
In some
but
form.
that was on the Hawkeye Instagram.
That was
I
a different one.
understand.
That was a fan one. That was the
That was
Hawkeye-
a fan one.
because they tagged the official one in that is in their bio because it's their one handle on the official one and the handshake thing, so it's kind of like their.
Oh, right, fuck what I know then. Okay. But no, I saw that last night or whatever it was, and I was like, oh, have they announced it?
We want more of that, and we want more of Moon Knight because.
Yeah, because the Moon Knight's now sort of died to death now after that.
Well, apparently, Moon Knight and Layla will appear in New World Order. Is the rumor at the moment that they will make a cameo appearance in?
why? That's the question, though. Why?
That is weird because,
That's an odd pairing. Captain America, Moon Knight.
according to a post from the Latino website, the Latin American Disney website, is that several heroes have been more prominent in importance in Phase 5 will be Daredevil, Captain America, the Sam Wilson version, Kate Bishop, Echo, Miss Marvel, and Ironheart will be very important characters in that
Huh.
phase. More on the street level stuff, I assume,
Yeah,
than
right.
the general multiverse stuff. I think will affect them less. But someone who will be affected by the multiverse apparently is probably Penn Bagley, because apparently he has met with Marvel and been spoken to about the Marvel Studios reportedly spoken to him about playing possibly Reed Richards. Now I'm not against that, and I love that if John Krasinski would just be the fan thing of there you go, you got your wish in one universe he is, and it makes credence to the fact that everyone looks different and is played by different people, akin to the Spider-Man thing, and then gives you more room to tell a multiversal story with
Down the line,
Reed.
yeah.
Like, you need more brain power, you get another Reed Richards in from another universe kind of thing. And I think he'd be good because it'd be nice to see him play a hero.
Yes, it would
Because
make a
as a
change.
sociopath, it's quite hard to get behind him.
That's what I mean. Yeah, he needs to turn his image around.
And I think, as she probably won't be directing it, because apparently Matt Shankman has left
What was it?
Star
Yeah,
Trek 4,
that's
which
right.
can't catch a break, to leave another film with 4 in the title, is reportedly soon to be announced as the director of the Fantastic Four movie. Which I like the fact that, getting the leap from TV to film.
Yeah,
'Cause
exactly.
I'm not sure that's been done yet in the... Because Kate Herron's not done anything yet, which is a shame, because I would like to have...
no.
Yeah, so that's that thing. But
Matt Shaman from One Division potentially directing Fantastic Four.
and it just, Star Trek 4 really can't catch a break, can they? But
Shame. No shame. I'll get round to Trek at some point.
But yeah. So yeah, I just I look forward to that. Someone's just done a really funny first Doctor post. Me at B&Q when they haven't got the paint I need. Have you no emulsions, sir? The classic line from the 10th Planet. But yes, we've got some stuff happening there. We've got Umbrella Academy renewed for a 4th and final
I
season.
know, fourth and final.
End on a high. I'm
Why
cool
not?
with it. I
Yeah.
am okay with it. Jeffrey Dean Morgan joined the cast for The Boys season 4,
Which I'm cool about, yeah.
and he said, like, give me some tights. I'm ready for tights.
Ooh, tight.
Tights, very tight. And quickly before I read the next one, I'm just gonna do.
Beast.
Lionheart. Da-na-na-na-na-na. Where's the thing gone? There's so many things, and then I got to delete them there.
I did finish IT Crowd last night. Like first season, not the whole thing.
Enjoying it.
Yeah, I do like it.
Some poorly aged stuff and a bad writer, but still an enjoyable show.
Fire.
It's a fire. Apparently, according to Tony Gilroy, there is no fan service in Andor. They've just made it because it's something they want to make, which I'm up for. And they've been quoted as saying it's the first one that's actually using outside and landscape and location shooting. And someone was quoted as saying, like, I want to do it old school. Like,
Fair
we're
play.
old school kind of thing, but, it's not a dig because I think The Mandalorian is still, like, made really well. And in terms of the production turnaround and the circumstances around in which it was made,
Absolutely.
you
it's
still get that
incredible.
quality looking show. Like, I'm here for. The Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom got delayed
It did. Dun,
to
dun,
2023
dun.
to December 2023, and Shazam: Fury of the Gods got delayed till March 2023, which I was gutted about because that was one of the original ones that got moved up,
It did get moved up.
and then
Yeah. It's
we're
now
only
become
getting because apparently they only have the budget to release two major films this year, which is Don't Worry Darling, which Don't Worry Darling, Harry Styles got paid loads for this as opposed to Florence Pugh, and
Don't
Black
worry-
Adam.
And don't worry, he's not definitely part of the MCU. Yes, he'll come back to us. Don't worry.
So
about it.
like I'm less excited for Black Adam as time goes on. I'm more excited
No.
for seeing, like we've said before, the Avengers from Loki's point of view kind of film. But the fact that the power hierarchy, the DC universe is about to change. I don't think they
Yeah,
really
don't.
care
No, they
because I
don't.
know they're getting on board a new boss to kind of like they want to follow this timeline to kind of refresh and reboot, and they might keep Cavill. Who knows?
Well,
but,
even he doesn't know.
What we do know is that those poor people that did work on Batgirl, they did have a screening at Warner Brothers for the one that's basically allowed to see the film before it was locked away in the vaults forever, which is a bit sanctimonious, but I'm here for it. But the directors themselves, Adil and Bilal, they said they're open to doing another DC movie, so they haven't been completely stung by the operation. So they said if they
want to do
if
another
they call
DC.
us, we'd still answer the phone kind of thing. And it's
Yeah,
like,
but
that's
Well, yeah,
that's
but
quite
I
cool
still
because obviously that
wouldn't.
they need a job, but they've hopefully
They
been
do.
paid well for their services.
Yeah.
The final season of Stranger Things will reportedly have 8 episodes.
Hey, okay.
which that's cool. It's standard. They're about 8 or 9.
That is the pattern, yeah. 8, 9, 8, 9, 8. That is the pattern. Yeah.
Down for it. There is a Godzilla vs Kong will team up to fight a colossal undiscovered threat from a hidden within our world. The sequel apparently releases 15th of March 2024. We knew that's basically being worked on, and they're developing a Kong series at Disney Plus.
Disney Plus, which does that one baffles me. Disney Plus are doing Kong
because they kind of own the rights, but he's also sort of public domain. But it depends because everything's wibbly wobbly.
But is it part of that MonsterVerse or not?
I don't know, but I'm glad because at the time they said like we reached the goal with the MonsterVerse. We might do more, but like
what about Son of Kong, or is that going to be the series?
Maybe you do Son of Kong. Maybe that's what you do. I don't know. You divide it up so you've got a TV audience and a
film audience.
Yeah. They had a screening of Ezra Miller didn't mind the stream of bad headlines, but sought out help after learning it, and basically that's when they apologised for their bad behaviour. The meetings apparently took place around the time of like after the cancellation of Batgirl, and then like sorting that out for a screening kind of thing. But apparently, the Flash test screenings are getting the best feedback since the Dark Knight trilogy. I don't know if you've spotted this, but every DC film since then has done that. Like, it's the best since The Dark Knight. It's the best since The Dark Knight Rises. It's the best since Batman Begins. And it's like, if that's the candle you hold yourself to, good. But just because it's, a bunch of people that work in that company, you're obviously going to go, yeah, it's the best thing ever. The best thing ever.
Oh, my God.
Right, see?
I know we've said it plenty of times, so this is the real deal.
This is definitely the best thing ever, because Dan Lin is in talks to take over as the DC chief and oversee future film and TV projects and be the Kevin Feige of this version. He's previously worked on the It movies, Lego Movie, and Netflix live-action Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Okay, which is yet to that's
still not come out
this year, though.
Is it due this year?
I'm sure.
I haven't heard. I thought it'd gone the way of Armor Wars, and it's like it's happening, but we don't know when.
Avatar Wars. It may happen.
Avatar Wars. I invented them. Speaking of Armor Wars, apparently Morgan Stark will appear in Armor Wars when that comes out. But judging by if it takes long enough, what's her name who played her in Endgame might actually be old enough to play her as an adult at this fucking rate. But
oh well, yeah. I can't think of her name. But
have you ever thought about Anthony Hopkins being in Doctor Who? So he posted a mini video on Twitter of him in a phone box. Put me through to Doctor Who. Need instructions on my next mission. Happy Sunday from across the pond. Winky face. Basically being back in Blighty. And people debating, is he involved in some way? Which I'm not against. Because if you can get Anthony Hopkins to be a villain in Doctor Who or just
some Time Lord figure.
And now people have been saying
Omega.
People have been saying Omega or a regenerated Rassilon.
That's my gut, Rassilon. I feel Rassilon.
He would be a very good. Like, I would believe that he would be the same incarnation as Timothy Dalton. Like, you would believe that they are the same. Fuck it, why not?
The Rani. No,
you'll die with me, Doctor.
You know what? I'd think an older Eric Roberts master.
I always dress for the occasion.
Clarice.
I'll prepare your regenerations with lima beans and a nice Chianti. Terrible impression, but now I saw this and I wonder how you feel about it. So
Anthony Hopkins still.
So this was from Poorly Aged Doctor Who, like their account, and it's run by like Joel, who like came out and said like, I'm not just Poorly Aged Doctor Who, like I'm actually Joel, like I'm a person, like
I'm Joel.
Seems like a nice guy. Tell you what, if they ever want to bring back Jack Harkness to Doctor Who, you could just recast him as Anson Mount, and they use these pictures from Star Trek. And I tell you what,
yeah, I see it. I see the genetic code. Yeah,
not just the genetic code. I see but people said like maybe do him as like with River was a character in that vein, but like completely different. Like because a lot of people are like, you don't have to hold on to this character. You can kind of enjoy him in the capsule in which he was. But obviously, if Russell wants to bring him back, because it kind of would feel like he'd either have these companions come back and sort of be relevant again, and or at least be serviceable for one more story, or like tie off their stories completely in some regards, then maybe that's an option. But I still think there is, like we've said countless times, we won't keep going over it, but if John Barrowman had come out at the beginning and gone like, look, I shouldn't have got my penis out all the time.
Yeah, I'm an
That
idiot.
was wrong. I did get told off for it. I've learned from my ways. I've, not done it since I carried on doing it on Arrow, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Like, if he'd
yeah,
come out and done
yeah,
that instead
yeah.
of be the staunch thing of like, they're trying to cancel me. Unlike Noel Clarke, who posted a video of them,
He did.
of him
Yeah.
talking on Twitter about, I don't know if we talked about it last week, but basically like, like loads of detectives had found him, like there'd been no investigations, and people were like, yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's not happened. It's just
Exactly.
women can be so terrified that they, and like with this, like he's being believed a lot more than his victims are, and I think that's shameful, and we'll never know the full extent
We
until
won't.
a
That's the thing,
full
until
definitive proof comes out, and we might never get that. But
big finish.
what he
We
done
love
is
stories.
completely worse than what John did, and John has has had a way back from that, but has sort of dug himself into a worse place where it's kind of easier now if he doesn't come back. Like saying that the BBC's blacklisted him, no, it's kind of a thing of like you're being held accountable for stuff that you did. If James Gunn's got to go through that to then get his job back, then so have you. Like
No, exactly.
why
yeah,
is
what
yeah.
makes you so special?
But I like seeing Anson Mount, and just that's the thing that
Well,
I can
going
get.
off of what we said about the face of O, that image about
He looks
he
like
made
Jack,
the transition.
but he looks.
He don't know. He does look like
He,
Jack.
he
yeah.
does look like Jackson, and that's fine.
I can see the mannerisms as well, not just the. Yeah, no, I could see you.
And it would be nice for him to sort of out and out just be a suave hero,
Exactly. Yeah.
because we're used to him being sort of like the authoritarian figure in Star Trek, or a completely silent man who gets his head blown up.
Mute. Yeah. Completely silent mute with a comic accurate costume. Yeah.
Which people are moaning that that's CGI, but obviously, like in terms of timekeeping and the turnaround,
Yeah.
you do that, and then when he appears next time, you make that.
For
You be like,
real.
now make that, but you've got the time to make it because we know that he's in this.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Top Gun Maverick star Glenn Powell debunks rumours of him playing Cyclops in the MCU. Nobody has called me. I don't even have contact info for Marvel, so I have no idea what people are talking about, because a lot of people have paired him up with that role, which
No, it
seems like a
he was
decent
ve-
fit.
He was very good after Maverick. I mean, he's kind of got the Cyclops vibe
yeah,
to me.
Boy Scout, but badass.
Right. A cooler Cyclops than any James Marsden would have done. Oh no.
Spider-Man rumoured to have like his team-up cameo to be in the Fantastic Four, because we know that he's also set, like Tom Holland Spider-Man is set to appear in some form in Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars,
Yeah.
because obviously he's important to those stories, but to see him actually cameo in the Fantastic Four like his comic first appearance would be...
With the Bagman. But a fault that I saw, going back to She-Hulk, a person that has... Okay, I'll go back to Fantastic Four. Another person that's had a good link to the Fantastic Four in the comics, taking place of, I think it was Johnny or the Thing. I'm talking about She-Hulk herself. She was a member of the Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
at some
briefly, so
point.
maybe that's how you do it, because
But
the
more to
rumours
be
are...
her and the Thing, which I suppose is
Because
why...
he's meant to be one of her clients. There's a rumour that Jason Segel was going to play him and she'd be defending him in court or
Maybe,
something.
well, I was getting at, maybe he's episode 3, the big reveal. If it's...
But they
that
said it's not
post-credit-
just a camera. Oh, we don't know.
I
We don't know which side.
We don't we? I'm trying to put articles together, damn it.
We shall see.
Really?
One thing we do know is that we apparently know the members of the Midnight Suns, which will be Blade, Doctor Strange, Moon Knight, Ghost Rider, Werewolf by Night, Elsa Bloodstone, and it's me, Kit Harington, the Black Knight.
Who's Elsa Bloodstone? Do I know her? Who's that?
She's a.
So we've not seen her in the MCU.
I believe she's part of the Vampiric world. Is she? I don't know. I can only go by that picture because it's a name that rings a bell, but it's one of them things
Yeah,
of.
I know the name, but I have no clue who she is.
Yeah,
We haven't seen her yet.
yeah.
But Werewolf by Night is happening, but we still have no information.
That's in the Halloween special,
right
which
this section.
But
yeah.
D23 is coming up soon, so we assume to know more then.
We'll have to. Yeah.
And another lineup we have reportedly is a more concrete version of the Thunderbolts, which similar to other ones floated around, but Zemo, Yelena Belova, Ghost, Taskmaster, Abomination, US Agent, Titania, and Winter Soldier, which I like because it's being listed as their Suicide Squad. But
I like.
I
that
like
squad.
the mix. I
I
like
do.
that we'll get to see Tim Roth again. I don't know how the Thunderbolts name will come about
Because
because
Abomination
Thunderbolt
did
Ross is
say.
dead.
Oh well, yeah. Maybe it'll be
Honoured
like,
to honour him, like
Yeah, that's
there'll
what
be
I mean.
a commander, like maybe they've recorded some stuff for it that they can use and just be like, we're doing this with General Ross, like with the Thunderbolts,
we are the Thunderbolts.
because a lot of those are villains,
We
or
are.
at least were villains when we first see them.
Yes.
US Agent Moore becoming a villain. Obviously, Titania is debuted in She-Hulk, so looking forward to
But I was
that.
going to say, it also links with Abomination's line about getting out of prison to see 7 pen pals. Or whether it was, he said something about
7 pen pals are all going to like build me a house, like they're going to be my wives or something. But that seemed more of a possibly.
It could be. It might be a joke for the sake of She-Hulk. It probably is a joke. But again, people did link that and were like, oh, 7 other people with Thunderbolts. Oh, he's probably talking about that. He's doing a con. We think Abomination's meant to be all reformed and all namaste.
But he's
and shit.
doing it.
Is it a play?
Maybe
Is
it
a
could.
play?
It could just be a play. Amazon rumours to be buying EA, and that's.
I did not hear that.
That's
news
do
to
that.
me.
I'm not really bothered. Evil Dead Rise will now release in theatres instead of HBO Max,
Yes.
April 21st, 2023,
Yeah,
which is that related to Ash at all? I've not read much on that.
Bruce Campbell's producer. He says he's retired the character. He's not in it. Blah blah blah. But of course,
He's apparently signed a 3-picture deal for Marvel.
what has he?
Yeah, because he talked about that cameo in Strange, isn't?
It's going to be not the last
Yeah.
of it. And Pizza Popper.
Yeah, and it might be Pizza Popper. It might be. Maybe we get Secret Wars. We get him as Mysterio. I don't know. That'd be nice.
Well, because I swear Army of Darkness, the comic series, was done by Marvel, so you could theory get Ash.
I think that's a stretch.
That is a stretch, I know, and
I'm not against.
people would look at it and be like, "Who the fuck's that?"
I'm not against it, but I'm kind of like that is a leap too far. But
Oh, you never say never.
Carice Van Houten wants to reprise her role as Melisandre because we know she is centuries old, so Melisandre could
She
theoretically,
could very well be in-house.
and she might very well do that in the second season that got commissioned.
She might be the one of the dragons in the show, for all I know.
So, but yeah, so she, season 2 was commissioned
It
not
was
long after. It was 5 days after the premiere.
I think, yeah.
So good on you. I continue to debate waiting for it all to come out and watching it then, so I only have to pay for a month of now, or
True.
doing it week by. I would like to do it week by week. It's just a financial and practical thing at the
Economic
moment.
situation.
We
Yeah,
shall see.
yeah. Yeah.
And Francis Lawrence will direct Netflix's Bioshock film. Michael Green will write
Ooh.
the script. And that's all the recent stuff I had, apart from Gladiators is back, but yeah.
Oh, okay, Gladiators.
Coming back to the BBC instead of Sky One. Did a brief return in 2008.
Oh.
And that's all I've got apart from, I don't know if you know Dan Walker, who's was a presenter for the BBC, did some of the football stuff and then has moved on to Channel 5. Did a post about basically it's a new programme that's going to be on Friday at 9 on Channel 5, but he got the title wrong from a autocorrect, we shall assume, and then it makes you wonder why he's written this before on his phone for it to correct to this.
Right.
Fantastic response to Dogging for Treasure last night, and great figures. Thanks for watching and the feedback. We're filming again today, and a little less clapping and celebrating with a snack of choice. See you Friday at 9, along with it's got Raksha Diggs and Michaela Strachan in it, and obviously then quote tweeted that with digging instead of, obviously it auto corrected to Dogging for Treasure, but it was obviously digging. And I thought that was funny because people were like, "Well, that's a completely different thing that I didn't know that Channel 5 are up for." But sure,
Yeah.
Dogging for Treasure.
Dogging for treasure.
Hashtag release the dogging cut. So
Jesus.
that's about that, because the main thing to look forward to now is that Saturday we will be at the BFI for the Abominable Snowmen screening. We
Last
will
of
see
animation.
if we see any of the big YouTubers there. We'll try and stop, have a picture, maybe grab a drink, or I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Grab a
Ooh.
beverage.
Depends on the train strikes.
It does.
If you are down there, please do come and say hello. I'm trying to get some stickers done. If we can take some of them with us. If not, we only have one sticker. Fucking first come, first serve. But thank you guys all for once again watching, listening, enjoying, and insinuating that you have been part of Nerd Bible Podcast. As always, you can get in contact with us at Pasty Sheep across Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and some TikTok content possibly on Saturday that you might see. Until then, you can email us at
nerdbiblecontact@gmail.com.
and as always, Connor can
Yeah,
give
well.
us his wise words of wisdom as we end.
What is the password? What is the password for the computer?
What is the password? Indeed, in New York City. Thank you, everyone. And next week for Doki Who / She-Hulk.
She-Hulk.
Ooh.
She-Hulk on you. Namaste.